now.
It's a well-oiled machine, Bart.
Yeah,
Hello and
covered in
welcome
oil.
to another
And
Woodshop
rust.
podcast with Mike Coffey of Coffee Custom Builds.
It's like my
Daniel
tools.
Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, and Peter Kapar of Petrie's Workshop. You can find us all, as well as the podcast, on Instagram and YouTube.
Welcome to episode 66 of another Woodshop podcast, where this week, for 1 week only, you get 2 Polacks for the price of 1.
Whoa,
Bart
what a
Komar
deal.
is with us. What's going on, Bart?
What's going on, guys? I'm a big fan of the show. Thank you for having me on.
All right,
Thanks for being
you
on,
ready?
Bart.
Just like we scripted.
Yeah.
Glad.
You can invoice us later. Guys, this week's episode is brought to you by Peak Safety. Big thank you to Peak Safety for sponsoring this week's episode. We talk a lot about stuff going on in the shop, but we don't always talk about PPE and safety things. Peak Safety offers a lot of different respirators and PPE options. And if you go to peaksafety.com, you can use code AWP21 for 10% off your next purchase. They've got half masks, full masks, power caps. They've got the new clean air system that you wear on a belt, and it pumps air into your mask. And I've been using it for the last couple weeks, and I really like it. I'm really happy with it. So you should check it out. But if you want something a little bit more within a budget that's more traditional, they have the half mask systems with the filters up front, and they've got all kinds of options for you over there at peaksafety.com. So go check out peaksafety.com and remember to use that code AWP21 for 10% off. Peak
You know who
Safety
else?
sponsors the show, but you know who else sponsors the show?
You know who sponsors the pre-show? Our patrons. Oh, huge shout out to our patrons. If you want to become a patron, help support the show and get some behind the scenes content and get content even earlier now, because we started recording on Thursdays. By the way, a little PSA. We are doing our lives on Thursday night, 9, 8, 6 p.m. Just accordingly for the times. And then mountain time.
We don't broadcast in mountain.
We don't. It's a blackout. You get it the next day.
Yeah,
I think that might be hurting us.
All of our actual listeners are in mountain time. That's what it is.
right.
But
We've been excluding them.
huge shout out to our sponsors. If you want to get this content even earlier now in the week and get your weekend started early with us, make sure to follow us on patreon.com/another Woodshop podcast. There's a lot of great stuff on there.
Is that a
Mike,
forward slash or a backslash?
that's the slash
Yep.
that everyone usually
It's
uses.
both.
Yep. Go for that one.
That slash?
It's not the music slash. Now, Mike, I think we've got some new slashes added to the Patreon page.
Yes, big brand new slashes.
Brand new slashes.
Ed Wolfersdorf. I hope I nailed. I feel
What did
like
you
I
call
nailed
me?
that. I feel strong.
I think you nailed it.
It's from Wolfden Cabinetry. That's Ed Wolfersdorf. Preston Fuller from the Plaid Woodworker, and Jessica Yan. Thank you so much, you guys, for
You guys
joining
are
the show
awesome.
and
You're
being part of the
amazing.
family. So,
Big round of applause.
guys, we have a guest on the show, as we mentioned. That's Bart. Typically, right now, we would sing, the "What's on My Bench" theme, and that's not going to change. Dan's going to sing it right now. Dan, the voice of an angel. You're incredible. Everything you do is a saint-like action. What, Dan?
I move to have our guest start singing that little bit. What do you think?
I agree.
Okay.
Bart, hit it.
Bart.
Ready?
Yep.
Yes.
Am I ready? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's on my bench?
No.
I like it. We're gonna save it.
Yes,
Oh, Dan
it worked.
Dan immediately
you know,
regretted
my
it.
week.
You want to try that again like a man?
What's on my bench, yo?
I need more vibrato.
I like when he raps.
That's great.
The next part is gonna. Bart, why don't you tell us what's on your bench this week?
So is that actually on my bench, but more of
What's
in
going
my
on in your
backyard?
life and in your
It's a
shop,
metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
backyard,
Yeah,
in the
I
sack,
gotcha.
whatever.
It's a sexually charged metaphor.
So I'm doing a concrete pad for a shed that I'm moving that was previously built that I'm going to be rebuilding, if that makes any sense. So when we bought our house, there was a clubhouse in the backyard that was like 10 feet off the ground, and the kids hated it because every time they went in there, they got stung by a wasp. So I ended up
see the reason.
building.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
right?
Good times.
So I ended up
A
building
homeless guy would flick him in the eye. I don't know why they wouldn't go in there.
Plus the stairs were like a ladder. So they wouldn't go in there. So I built a shed underneath it. And now we're getting a pool installed. That is exactly where the
Nice.
clubhouse shed is going. So I needed to move it. So I rented a telehandler last week, which is a big forklift with like a boom arm, and lifted that clubhouse, cut it off of the shed, and the thing almost fell on us. So
Hey,
we had to
how
strap
many
it down.
Polacks does it take to move a
It
shed?
was 2. It was just me and
Bart
not
almost
Komar
got Buster
Senior.
Keaton by the shed.
I was hoping you'd reference.
Oh, that's
that
so great.
relevant
So it's just
Buster
you and Tato moved it over?
Me and Tato moved it over to so I poured a 12 by 24 concrete slab on the other side of the property, and doing a video on a DIY slab, and that's a big DIY slab to be doing with one person. So I did have some help pouring it. A buddy of mine came over and helped me pour it, but yeah, it's going to be a pretty damn interesting project with
Do you have to
moving
get
that
permits
shed
for that
onto
out
that
there?
I was gonna ask that too,
We-
actually.
So
So
was I.
technically, yes,
You do? Okay.
but I did it the
I
Polish
mean, we're not
way.
going to report you. Right. You didn't tell him.
It's a good thing there's no
Yes.
evidence of you pouring it.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I'm actually breaking it up into a 4-part series of videos. So the first one's going to be on how to pour the pad. The second one is going to be on price comparison, because I had some contractors come out and give me some quotes before I actually started it. So I know kind of what I spent and what they were going to charge me. So I'm going to do that for the viewers so that, they can decide on their own whether or not it's something they want to tackle. And then the shed move, and then rebuilding it, because now obviously it doesn't have a roof because the clubhouse was on top of it. So it's just it's a lot going on in the backyard now. And obviously the pool's getting installed. So that's going to be fun too.
It's be nice.
A lot going on. Yeah.
Sweet.
Now I can't believe you actually you poured the whole slab and then you went and cut the lines in it for where
Yeah.
it's gonna if it's gonna snap, it'll snap along those, right?
Yeah. So, like it's, a 24 by 12 foot slab is a lot for 2 guys to do. And it was just me and my buddy. And we were kind of gung ho about it. And we put all the concrete into the form before screeding it. So typically what you would do is you would pour half of it or a quarter of it, screed it, then, pour more of it from the concrete truck, pour it, screed that, and then just keep going until you have a decent, level
It
base.
just means
What we
wipe
did,
the
we
top, Dan.
Yeah.
Could you explain for our non-concrete laying
Yeah, so
folk what
screeding
screed
it would-
means?
Is taking a 2x4 and running it back and forth so it actually pushes the concrete and makes it all level to your form. So what we did
Word.
was we poured all the concrete into it and realized that we had way too much concrete in the form. So we started shoveling it out into a trailer. And by the time we got back, the concrete started hardening on us. So we didn't get a chance to put expansion joints in. So I ended up cutting it with a skill saw and a diamond blade, which was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
By the
I
way,
did that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I learned something this week from watching Jason Hibbs's video when he did the fire pit. Apparently it's screed with a D, not a T. It's not screet. And
But I'm
apparently there's a
Polish.
lot of people super angry on the internet about it when he did his countertop
There are
video.
people on the internet that are angry.
It's really
I'm
weird.
shocked.
We haven't gotten there yet, but I know there's probably people out there that just
Just
get mad
like
about things.
tamper. So, when you're tamping gravel or ground with a hand tamper or something. So I did a patio video where I said tamper instead of tamp. And half of the comments on there were, yo, it's tamp, not tamper.
You know what?
And they
Engagement.
were
The best thing you can do. Yeah, engagement.
Yes.
That's the best thing you can do.
I was like, oh, really? Thanks.
Yeah. One of Mike's best
I did it
performing
right.
videos is him drilling a hole. And the internet got mad.
They were pissed.
They were so mad.
Engagement, man. It's great.
Engagement.
Yep.
What else is
So,
going
yeah.
on?
So that is pretty much all the outside stuff. And then once that's done, we are going to be doing I'm going to get into some hand cut dovetails, which I've never done. I'm doing a cabinet for my parents. They want to put a microwave in it. which is a very weird. So it's gonna be an open cabinet. It's gonna have doors on the bottom of it, but they want to put
Such a Polish thing.
microwave. It's a very Polish thing, yes.
A
And so
microwave?
I'm gonna
I'm not
be
Polish.
doing
No,
that.
but like in like a hand cut cabinet.
Yeah,
I was
like
like,
that.
I have a microwave.
And
Bart
so they said
Bart gets it.
make it as simple as you want, but since I haven't done anything remotely woodworking in a while, I want to do some hand cut dovetails and just practice on it. My parents are going to say, yeah, it looks great no matter how crappy it is. So
That's what
The
it's
best
all
client.
That's
about,
supportive
really.
parents.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So
you're
that's,
supposed to say that. You're my mom.
Mom, you don't get it. It's because it was free. That's why it looks like this.
Yep. Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on in the actual thing. And then we are planning a huge expansion on the house. We're going to be ripping off the second floor next year because we were going to do it this year, but 2x4 prices or lumber prices are so ridiculous now that we're going to hold off until next year. And that's going to be a lot of fun because
2x4 prices are actually higher right now than ambrosia maple, board foot wise.
Which is crazy.
It's
I'm just going to frame
insane.
with ambrosia
Pine is no
maple.
longer fine.
You could build a house out of ambrosia maple framing for cheaper.
Which is
than
kinda crazy.
2x4s.
Or what about MDF studs? I feel like that would be a thing.
Not a good idea.
No, really?
Nope.
Why not, Dan?
Interesting.
It's just bad.
Interesting.
It's just bad.
Yeah, so that's what's going on in my world. What about you, Dan? What's on your
Well,
bench?
What's on the bench?
well, I just ruined everything.
Good one.
Mike
No,
sunk his
that's
head
great.
down.
No, that was me laughing.
That's great. I have to laugh looking down.
You guys, I hit a massive milestone this week. I delivered the big boy Tetris bookshelf. And
Congratulations.
I don't want to toot my own horn here, fellas.
That's not true. That's literally all you
that's
wanna
literally
do.
all
Go
you're going
ahead.
to do now for 20 minutes.
If you don't mind, that's what I'm going to do. That thing looked amazing in
It
its
did. Robin said Dan did a really great job on this.
Whoa. What did Mike say? That's what I want to know. It's really all the
We got into a pretty serious argument that night.
Needless
it
to
looks
say,
really great.
she
I mean,
slept
you
on
did
a
great.
couch.
Yeah. You did a great job. It looked great. You did a great job. It looks great
Yeah.
next to its little brother too.
I'm super pumped with it. I can't wait till they get it filled up with whatever they're going to fill it up with, and they're going to
Tetris.
send me pictures. Whatever.
Action figures.
I presume.
No, Tetris
did-
action figures. Other small Tetris
So-
pieces.
I posted that on Reddit, right, on the woodworking subreddit,
Mhm.
and only one person has ever like mentioned the fact that even though I call this the Tetris bookshelf, it has no Tetris shapes. There's zero Tetris shapes.
False advertising.
Yeah.
So, like, you mean like a building block tray?
It's more. Well, I don't know if it's a. Oh, I see where you're going. Took me a second.
A
Mike
liar.
got sued by Lego because he called Lego trays Lego trays.
But anyways, I forget where I was going with
Those
that.
Swedish.
Anyways, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the client's reaction. It was phenomenal, and they were super happy. And I'm just glad that it's out of my shop and I got the space back because that thing took up a ton of space. And just like last week, I still have Nick working on the bookcase doors for the other client that I'm trying to keep happy. $5 in a bush light.
And a bush light.
It's the best deal ever, you guys. I'm telling you what.
Poor Nick. You get so lucky with Nick.
And he's moving. He bought a new
He
house
is?
and he's moving away from me. Yeah, he's
Where?
moving.
He's actually moving closer towards me. I
really
checked.
far away.
Is he really? Where'd he move to?
He's moving like a town over.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's still gonna be close.
Belmont.
What?
I don't know.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Because you're in
Oh,
Bellevue.
wait, I was thinking. Yes, I meant Bellevue.
my God.
not Bellevue.
This is a bad
Ruined
joke.
my own
Oh.
joke. It was bad.
Jeez, lard.
Did I tell
Anyway,
you about my uncle?
You look ridiculous with all
About a
that
month.
lard on your back.
About a month before he died.
So last week I put in an order for 200 board feet of Peruvian walnut, 150 board feet of the thermal modified ash, which is called Cambria.
At that ash.
Up.
It was supposed to be in like last Friday, and It didn't
What
make
is
it on the truck.
What is the Cambrian ash for? Sorry.
I'm making an outdoor shower.
Is it for that beach house? Yeah.
Yes.
I should say
I'm
lake
making an
house.
outdoor shower and some landings out of it.
Oh, with the sand brony.
Yeah, that's where the
Sand
Sandbrony
brony.
come from. Come on now.
Not brony.
Are you,
They're not
are you
into,
doing like
they're
an
not into My Little Ponies. It's Sand Bony.
Oh, I had a totally different picture.
What? What were you thinking? Bart, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask him, are you doing like a elevated floor for this outdoor shower, or how's the drainage gonna work?
The outdoor
I wanna
shower
put one in
already
my
has
house.
the outdoor shower already has a spot. There's already
Okay.
like a outdoor shower built there and everything, but it's built very poorly. They
Okay.
actually used construction lumber for this
So you're
outdoor shower.
remodeling the outdoor shower.
Yeah, I'm tearing it all down and I'm rebuilding it.
So
because
ambrosia
that is-
maple construction lumber.
Yeah, I'm gonna use ambrosia maple. No, I'm gonna tear it down and rebuild it out of the thermally modified ash, the Cambria, and I'm gonna make some geometric designs and stuff. And they have some landings that go from their concrete patio, concrete or cement. What's the proper word? there?
Concrete. It's totally concrete.
Concrete from their
said
concrete
cement.
patio to their beach, and I need to make some landings that go out on either side. And
Who knew there were
so anyways,
beaches in Nebraska?
my story was I
Just
ordered that
waterfront.
wood last week, and it was supposed to be in on Friday. So like the place where I get my
Is
hardwood
that
from.
going to your shop?
No,
Okay,
gonna
I was gonna
explain.
say that's
It's
gonna
stored in
take
Nick's
a ton
shop.
of space.
Nick Brim's shop.
it's a lot.
I'm
of
paying
space.
Nick $2 and a Butterfinger to store 500 board feet of wood.
His wife is real happy.
No,
Nick.
Butterfinger.
Too nice.
Whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
So I ordered this last week. The place I get it from here in Omaha, Nebraska, they
Liberty
actually
Hardwoods.
call their main warehouse in, I want to say, Joplin, Missouri, which is several hours south of here. And they do like a transfer truck every week on a Friday. And they were supposed to bring up all that wood that I ordered on Friday last week, and apparently they forgot. They forgot to just put it on the truck.
Lawsuit. I'm just
I know, right? And I'm like, I'm trying to
escalated
give you
quickly.
guys several $1,000s here for material, and you just forgot. So yeah,
not.
I'm
I
having
mean,
a-
realistically, there's probably much bigger orders that they're
You're
dealing
like
with.
that's
I'm
a
sure
crazy
there
thing.
are, but
Your
like,
And I'm not trying to
multi-$1,000
diminish your
order.
thing, but
But
like
that's the
I'll go to
reality.
like talk to Macbeth about stuff, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm putting in this $1,500 walnut order," and they'll be like, "That's cool. That's a truckload of ivory, or not ivory, ebony,
Ebony.
and that was $1.9 million." I'm like, "Oh, I guess that's
So can
anything."
you put mine on a truck too?
Yeah, can
Just
mine
keep by the
just find a
house?
spot
I'll
for
just
it?
pick it up myself.
It's cool. I'll be down on Sunday.
So anyways, I'm still waiting on the wood. I hope it shows up tomorrow. We're recording on Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday, the next week. Hope it shows up tomorrow, because I would really like to start on all those projects. In the meantime,
Do they have all the tables too? Is that the same people?
yes.
Is
Oh,
it the same house?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah. We're talking like a massive house. These people are going to put my kids through college, I think. It's great. It's great.
That's outstanding.
So I'm hoping to start on that next week. But in the meantime, I've been playing with my CNC. I made a couple like little trays and stuff. I put them on my Etsy shop. I made a dad tray for Father's Day. Sold one. Hey, look out, world. Coming. I'm probably gonna post a grumpy cat tray tomorrow.
you mean a Paco tray?
Yeah, grumpy Paco tray. Maybe I should call
It's
it
just it's just Paco. You don't have to say
Oh,
Just
grumpy.
the Paco.
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's true. Where's he at? Anyway, that's
He was
what I
rubbing
got
his
going
butt your
on.
desk.
Nothing special. Pretty typical. What do you got, Pete?
Me, why? I had an exciting week. Why? I don't know why I'm talking
Why
like
you-
a Southern Belle.
Come on.
I had a
Sweet
pretty
tea.
sweet tea. I had a pretty pretty dashing week. It started this last weekend. We worked on my buddy's van again, and I've finally yelled at him enough for him to start doing some actual work on it.
And you
We
under the hood?
cut. No, the hood is its engine and all that is good, but
Transmission's good.
Yeah, transmission's good. That's actually under the car. That's not even the hood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he just had his roof replaced because it was like rusted out and everything. And then we cut a hole in it, which took a lot of nerves of steel and truck nuts of steel to actually cut into a brand new roof. Cause like, I mean, it cost a lot of money to replace. But we got that in there. We installed a fan. So like you can
Henry's
officially
will
get
fix
some
it. Just slap some Henry's on top of that thing.
Henry's?
The
What's
roof,
that?
The roof putty. The roof putty stuff.
Oh, I thought that was a
Um,
dipping sauce. Henry.
The roof
Henry's dipping
was
sauce.
what turned out when we like peeled up all the stuff off the roof. It was like severely dented. They must have dropped something on this van and then just filled it with whatever you're talking about and then painted it like it was fine and flat. So when he bought it, he didn't know how bad it was. It was bad. So he peeled that stuff up. There was like cracks, rust spots, all that. But anyways, got that installed. He's got a fan in there. He's actually going on a camping trip this week. So we did a couple of things. I made this cherry slab table top or a countertop for him like a year and a half ago. And we finally installed it in a van. I sprayed some lacquer on it and it was, oh man, it came out so beautiful. This
Super
cherry that I
efficient.
got.
Over there.
Yeah, totally. But it was the shop was or the van was in a shop and then COVID happened and all that
sure,
stuff. So
sure.
everything got delayed.
Lots
but
of excuses.
That's finally happening. I'm excited to like start actually outfitting this whole thing. We're gonna be running electrical in the next few weeks, which is gonna be really cool. So I'm super stoked for that. Aside from that is I bought a lathe off of a hobo on the internet a couple months ago, and the spindle on it, although it was true, the threads were screwed up. Apparently somebody was just chewing on it and the thread was like
Max!
really bad shape.
Have you seen my teeth?
Yeah, yeah. So I ordered the new spindle, which was not a lot. It was like this one part. It was $100 for like $90 from Jet. I got it directly from
The
them.
most important part besides the motor.
Yeah, basically. But I swapped it out. It was actually a pretty easy repair, and
I can't believe somebody bought that for me. What a dude.
I'm still I'm very happy with the purchase. I'm not complaining at all because the spindle worked fine. I turned a bunch of mallets on it and like spindle type items, but when you would put a chuck on the thread was so screwed up that it was making the chuck wobble, so I couldn't turn any bowls or anything. I didn't notice until I started doing that.
Chuck wobble. I think
Chuck
that was
wobble.
a popular
Yeah,
dance.
Weeble wobble.
He was a news anchor from the 70s.
Yeah, Chuck Wobble. Yeah. 11 o'clock news. He was always like, find out at 11. And then it was him. Yeah. Okay.
And on the
I'm
street,
Chuck Wobble.
I'm Chuck Wobble.
So I got this thing on there and it spins so well. And I've been practicing something recently called
Uh-oh.
patience
Lucky
and
Emma.
planning. So I've actually started writing
Interesting.
out scripts, or not even scripts, but like bullet points of things I want to shoot for a video.
Ooh,
And I'm getting a lot more
have a-
organized.
Outlines?
I have a little tip
Outlines.
for you, by the way.
Give me the whole
Since-
tip.
since
Yeah, he
that's what
does.
you're doing.
If Dan Dunlap's got
Give me
anything,
all
it's a
66
little
tips.
tip.
Let's go.
You son of a. Little B has a song entitled OMG 66.
That was it.
That
I wish
I
I
wish
could.
it was a Thailand joke. Anyway.
No, that's the one I've been sitting on. That's good.
Oh,
I got a lot of Thailand jokes.
Who knows?
Bart
I spent
Komar,
way
everybody.
too much time there.
yeah, but I was gonna say you served, so you probably spent a lot of time there. But anyways, got the spindle on there. I'm happy. I got a video shot. I shot it all in one afternoon. Got from start to finish the whole thing. It felt really good to like get a whole video out, throw it into a folder, and it's ready for editing. So I'm gonna be doing that. Aside from that, I've been over the last couple of weeks working on a second video for my Laguna laser series, because when I got my laser from Laguna, I got a little discount, but the deal was I'm going to give them 2 videos. So they've been very patient with me. I got the first one out. I wanted to get a second one out of like fun projects to do. So I've been doing random shots. I'm currently playing with the rotary tool to try to get that dialed in. My voice cracked because I'm just hitting puberty now.
Rotary tool.
Rotary tool. And I'm
Is it
really
weird
excited to
that
get
I
the
didn't
rotary
even
tool.
notice?
No, it's fine. I call
So
myself
normal.
out. And I'm stoked to have the rotary tool set up because it's a hard word to say. And I'll be able to actually engrave some tumblers, which I feel like we promised like months ago to our patrons. But never
Yeah,
happened.
I can't wait to be able to spend some time and actually
Yeah.
get that thing up and running.
Once I get
so
it dialed
some
in, Mike,
stuff.
I'll let you know. We'll
Yeah,
coordinate.
For the record,
We'll
patrons,
collaborate.
For the record, patrons, Daniel does not have a laser, so this is on these guys.
Nice.
Yeah, because somebody
Nice to
cheaped
define.
out when they bought their CNC.
I have the tumblers here, so like as soon as you have it figured out, well, basically after next week, I
let me
can
know
spend
which
time on it.
ones. Well, let me know which ones you got.
I'll send you the link. They're cheap. It's like $30 for 10 of or 5 or 6 of them or something.
Awesome, sounds great. So yeah,
So why
there's
don't
that.
we get yours done? Let's give them all to the patrons.
I got you. We'll do it. We'll talk offline. But I agree. But let me figure out the
making it
settings, and
awkward,
I'm gonna throw them your way, and then we were at it through Bart, and then he'll get them out to you. So I did that. I'm working on a video. It's almost done. I just need 2 more things shot. So I got to figure out this the whole rotary tool part, and then I am actually going to be lifting my laser up a little bit. I 3D printed these custom feet to lift the whole
lift on your laser truck.
I'm gonna put a lift on it. Yeah. It's also the sides are gonna come out
Laser
support
nuts?
material. So when you open the lid, the side comes out, which
Come on,
Dan's
guys. Laser
laser
nuts?
doesn't have.
laser net.
Yeah, and I'm making fun of your trail boss right now.
That's fine.
When the
Make
lid
fun all you
opens,
want.
the thing doesn't pop out.
What?
The foot rests. That the
Running boards.
running boards, whatever. I don't know. I have a Subaru.
Foot rest. I leave the door open when I'm driving.
He
and I
says,
rest
"I'm
my
making
foot
fun
on
of
it."
your trail boss. I have a Subaru. Be quiet."
Yeah, that's right. So clearly I win this argument.
Yeah.
But once I get that done, get the video out hopefully next week. So we'll see how that goes. Last thing I am working on is I'm prepping my car because I'm going to be running a wiring harness this weekend,
What
and
are you
I
driving
have a Subaru, and I have an eco hitch that I'm going to be putting on there, which is a trailer hitch, but it doesn't sit underneath my bumper. My bumper has a little dupa plug, little butt plug in there. So you pop that out, and the trailer hitch actually sits inside the bumper. It's great. Dupa plug.
So how do you actually hook up the trailer to it? You gotta like.
It's a slot
it in
big
there?
enough. Like
Is it like
and
a
this is a
fifth wheel
trailer
hitch
hitch,
on your Subaru?
and you put it inside, and then you lock it with a pin.
Fifth wheel on
Okay.
the top of the Subaru. He's like underneath the fifth wheel. The turning radius is so tight. It's like
Have you ever seen that old video of like the
yeah, I have.
The
It's like
bug
the VW
when-
bug.
Yeah.
We had it. It's Pete.
So we're getting that installed, and then something very exciting happened today. Today, a certain company released an update to one of their machines, maybe one that maybe Dan got recently. So Onefinity released the Journeyman, or really the X50 series as well of so we all know the Onefinity's got those like thick
A longer
pipes.
rail.
It's not a longer, well, it's a whole, no, there's 2 things that they updated.
I
So
know, the
yes, there is
thickness
a
and the
Journeyman that is a longer rail that cuts 48-inch capacity, so 32 by 48. And the other thing is they upgraded the rails themselves. You can get the Woodworker with the X50 rails on it. So they're 50 millimeter rails instead of 35 millimeters. So they're beefier if you're doing some heavier work. But you can also get the Journeyman, which is X50, the 50 millimeter rails, and it's a wider cutting capacity. So I literally waited exactly till 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time when they launched, and I ordered it immediately. And I'm excited to say that it's coming at some point in near future.
It allows you to. It'll allow you to run your speeds faster.
It allows you to run your speeds faster. It's way more solid. After seeing, like, I was already kind of sold on it. When I saw Dan's in person, I was like, this is the one I'm getting. And when I heard the rumor that maybe there was a longer one coming, I was like, okay, let's wait. Because people have been bugging me like, why haven't you gotten a bigger one? Like, yeah, because I'm waiting. Calm down. So now this new one's coming, if all goes well, mid-August, and we're just gonna see how that works out.
You may or may not have a new house by then.
I may or may not have a new house. Who the hell knows?
I thought you were
Stage.
closing on like what, June 3rd last time I heard.
Uh,
What happened, Pete?
yeah, note how it's June 10th.
Damn real estate agents.
So right now it is July 6th.
Oh, Bart.
And that,
Oy.
I know,
Oy vey.
I'm trying. But they're like,
Is Emma really mad at you?
I mean, it's not my fault. But Emma, are you mad at me? Okay, she said no, so we're good. She doesn't know what we're talking about.
Far too nice.
But yeah, so but the July 6th still, knock on wood, house closing. So if all goes well, we are going full speed on a house then, and then I'm gonna go into full Bart Komar mode, where I stopped doing woodworking. That was not an attack. That was just an attack. But anyways, that's my week. Mike, what's on your bench? Bart, sing it.
Well,
Bart, sing it. Bart.
What's on your bench?
okay, thank you.
that worked?
Oh, so manly.
That was terrible. What's on your bench, Mike?
That's hot.
I lost
Thank
all my
you.
energy. I had some good energy and it's all gone now. No, I actually today I've been trying to get a trailer for like 2 months. I've needed a trailer, and over the last like
You do need
3
a new
weeks-
place to live. This is
Yeah, they're taking my house, so my wife and kid and my huge dog are gonna live in a utility trailer. Big news! I'm gonna do a YouTube video soon. We're gonna be everything's there's smell-o-vision. No,
With just a thumbnail, like, did we make a mistake?
yeah, was this bad? New house. Anyway, enough of
Okay.
that. So
Clickbait all the way.
yeah.
Watch the
No,
YouTube
so
video.
we I've been really for the last few weeks needing it more and more because I'm getting much larger table projects and just things I can't move around on my truck anymore. And I don't want to buy a new truck right now because I really am happy with my truck. It's got a lot of miles. I'm gonna have to replace it probably in a year, but right now I don't want to deal with that. So a trailer is the solution. It's gonna help me for
it's not a
lot of
Subaru.
stuff. It's no Subaru. It doesn't have the Dupa Euro plug or whatever it's called.
It doesn't
but,
have the Dupa Euro hitch.
yeah,
I could have gone
um,
with the Baja, the real man's truck. But
Subaru Baja,
there's
Subaru
also
Baja.
the same
in there
name as a
somewhere.
Mountain Dew.
it was nicknamed the Panty Dropper by Panty Dropper magazine from 95 to 95 because that's when it got shut down.
Something about my uncle you may not know is about a month before he died, he had lard put on his back, but it was all it was all downhill from there. That's not the right joke. That's wrong. No, it went downhill fast after that. That's what it is. No, so I got a trailer today. I'm super stoked. I got a 7 foot by 16 foot enclosed trailer with a ramp. It's going to be great. I'm really stoked. I can finally get these big table jobs I've got in there. Should cover every table job that I have currently lined up with deposits can fit in there. So I don't see any tables bigger than that.
Does
coming
that
anytime
fall
soon.
under your car insurance or you have to get a extra little delivery insurance thing?
Coffee Custom Builds got the commercial insurance this week.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Because I
yeah,
know there's like a limit to what you can get under your car.
It can be covered
policy.
for what I had, but because I'm taking on some I'll discuss that this week, but I'm taking on a little bit more liability with that big job downtown with the conference table. Me and my insurance broker decided it would be best for me to take on a little bit more insurance.
Yeah.
With Coffee
I'm
Custom
sure he
Builds, so-
decided. I'm sure he decided that. Your insurance broker was like, "Yeah, you should
You just might
probably
buy more
get
insurance.
More insurance."
Yeah.
You know.
I had to be able to provide the insurance to do the work I'm trying to do on the job
Well, yeah.
to the customer, not to my insurance guy. So I'll go into that. But last weekend, me and my cousin, my shop helper, we delivered the teak dining table.
Oh, you're
set.
Nick Brim?
Yeah, no.
You
I
pay
pay
him in
Matt
Bush
really
Light and
well.
Butterfingers?
No, I
Oh, yeah,
pay
that's right.
him really well.
You pay your Nick Brim.
I pay my Nick Brim good money. I don't give him bag sandwiches and high fives and stuff. No, we delivered that teak table, and man, it was really cool. That customer bought that herringbone table from me, and they're just so cool. They're just really great customers. They asked me to price up a couple doors for them and a built-in for them. So that's gonna be towards the fall. So we're kind of starting that conversation now. That probably won't start until about like August or September. So anyway, that was cool. And then after that, my cousin and I were heading to go pick up so like 3 months ago or 2 months ago, had a guy reach out to me. He's like, I want to do a river table. I'm like, oh, river table, great. So he's like, I want to do a river table. And he's like, don't worry. He's like, I'm building it. I was like, oh, perfect. I know I'm gonna be involved with this because when people take on river tables, they don't understand how much work it is. And not that I've ever done one, but it's a lot of work. He asked me if I could do some slab flattening for him on my CNC. So I flattened these 2 9.5 foot long elm slabs. They're about 20 inches wide. They were kind of shaped like a C, like a really they were like an ellipse, I guess, like a sweeping shape to them. He took those slabs and put them in a giant form and filled it with 3 inches of white epoxy. Not my taste, but it's his. It's not my table.
Taste.
It's a taste, but he's a super nice guy, really great customer.
And then you've removed a bunch of that set epoxy.
Well, no, we
Lining.
went to go pick up the table, and the table probably weighs 500 pounds because of the epoxy. It's 3 inches thick, 50 inches wide, and 125 inches long.
What?
And the three of us tried to lift up one side, and we're like, "Oh, this ain't even happening," and it's too big for my truck. And that's what really motivated me to get this figure out this trailer thing this week, like so bad. I had to get it figured out. Because I mean, the dude's got a deposit. I'm flattening that epoxy table on my CNC, and then I'm line edging it. Well, hold on, let me get into that. But anyway, me, my cousin, him and his neighbor, we couldn't even lift it. So I had to buy like a hydraulic lift table so we can bring that in there. Anyway, that's in the back of my trailer right now. So that's what we're picking up Saturday. And then the customer reached out and asked if I could line edge it. And then if I could sand it. I got that new big gym sanders coming tomorrow. So he asked if I could do the finish sanding for it and if I could do tabletop epoxy over the whole thing. And I'm like, yeah, I can do it. But it's going to be expensive because it's 24 hours. It's 3.5 gallons of tabletop epoxy that it's needed. And it's going to shut down my shop for, are you okay, Pete? That sounded loud.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. What was that?
I must have been a mortar, but like, what else would be that loud? Okay, I'm sorry. Back to you.
Back to the show. That was wild. I thought Emma got abducted.
Oh my god!
So Liam Neeson came into your house with a specific set of skills.
Oh, my family back.
Emma.
No, she's mine.
Yeah. So anyway, he asked me if I would price that up, and I gave him my price, and I explained to him, hey, I got to shut down. I mean, tabletop epoxy on a 4x10 table. I mean, I can't have any dust in my shop because that dust gets in that. It'll look just trash. It'll look trash, and I have to redo it. And it shuts my shop down for 24 hours. So I gave him my price, and then he came back and said, hey, we actually want to go with glass over the top. So I'm going to do finish sanding, and then we're going to be putting down rubber grommets, and I'm acquiring a big sheet of tempered glass for the top to save from doing.
Is it just a big rectangle piece of glass?
Yeah. Just a big 4x10 sheet of glass with some rubber grommets underneath it. So it's going to be a much easier solution, but it's a medium that I don't ever work with. I never work with glass, so I had to find a glass guy, and I'm working all that out right now. What's up, Pete?
No, I was gonna say, but like it actually kind of worked out well for you because you ended up finding like a really solid glass guy. And
yeah,
you got like good, like what a contractor pricing or whatever.
Yeah, they gave me an account. I got good contractor pricing. I got my network expanded, which was
never
awesome.
hurts to ask, guys. Now, did you need like a business license or what did you like?
No, I didn't have. I mean, they actually did ask for my business license, so maybe you do have to have a business license. So maybe you do. I did.
But it doesn't hurt to ask. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
you should ask. So I asked them if I could open an account and get business pricing, and they said give us your so you probably have to have that because I did have to provide that. So anyway, I got that account opened up, and we're working out pricing now. So anyway, that was pretty cool. That customer's great, and they're ordering a couple of big sliding barn doors. They're going to be
nice.
Doing the deposit on that tomorrow.
Those are fun to make.
I've never made them. I'm really excited. It's going to be. They look like a lot of fun, and it's that one I told you guys with the 1.5 inch. I'm doing the ultralight MDF with that modern design on my CNC, and then I'm going to be painting. Anyway, I'm really excited. It's going to be a fun build. What's else? Oh, for the big conference table, the customer decided to go with big bow ties for the cracks, which I was really hoping they would say that, which is good because it needs bow ties. The epoxy, realistically, it's probably not going to crack too much more, but I just don't know how long the epoxy is going to hold that together. So we're going to do some
there
bow
comes
ties
a point where like the client shouldn't say if there should be bow ties in it or not. I mean,
I agree.
There should be bow ties in it.
Right. There should be bow ties in it. But I just have to have them sign something saying that I can't be held accountable for I give them.
Right.
I have my part in an email, so I have my butt covered in my emails. So they did decide to go with the bow ties, which is good. And they are going with the I designed in Fusion a skeleton structure underneath that will recess into the wood that will give it a long stretcher along the whole length, and then it'll have arms coming off of it every 4 feet. So 2 sets, I guess, that'll actually give it strength from, the racking strength. So it'll give it racking strength and span strength. So I've got to get that all fabricated for my metal guy. And then I'm building the spice rack right now. Who cares about that? I did want to talk about something. The spice rack. I'm getting a lot of people asking about build plans for that. I will be making build plans for that on Sunday. I've got all the files done. I just need to put it into a nice format. So I'll get that out there. What's up, Dan?
I was just gonna. You just reminded me. I have build plans available for the mid-century modern bed that I made like a couple months ago. Finally.
Oh, nice.
Oh, they're done.
They're
They're
live.
done.
Sweet.
Nice.
I need to post them, but they're done.
Sweet. And
Sorry.
then I wanted to talk about real quick, because this happened this week with a customer. And sometimes you hear about people when they get a customer who comes to them, gets a quote, and they get the quote and they go, whoa, that's way more expensive than I thought it was going to be. And that happens. And it's just something that happens. Like, people don't understand how much these things cost. And it doesn't need to be a negative interaction. This guy wanted me to price something up. You know, he was thinking like $300. The wood is $350 for it. You know what I mean? And I was explaining it to him. He's like, look, I apologize for wasting your time. And I'm like, listen, man, you're not wasting my time. I make quotes all the time. He just didn't know. He didn't even understand. Like, to him, it just shows that it's really for the best when that happens, because to that person, the value isn't in it to them. So no matter what you were going to do, it was probably never going to be worth it to them. And they were either going to regret spending the money on something like that, or be difficult the whole time you were building it for them. So he was a super nice guy. And I really am glad that he didn't get a super bad taste in his mouth. He just didn't understand how much these things cost to make. So that's just how it goes.
I think a lot of people fall under that like scope.
Yeah, I was going to say
definitely
it happens a
those clients.
lot. Yeah, you get clients like that all the time that will come to you and thinking that, oh, I saw it on Facebook or I saw it on Instagram, and it doesn't look so hard to make, and it's only a couple pieces of wood, but they don't realize that walnut is what, $15.
Well, that, and they come at it with a well, this is a DIY project. Well, yeah, but you're not making it. I'm making it.
Exactly.
Also, they don't have those tools. They don't have that experience.
It's not a
There's so
DIY
many
project.
things.
It's do it themselves. Somebody
You're
else
welcome to DIY.
Yeah.
And then call me when I need to fix it, and I'm going to charge you double.
Also, talk to me when you have to fine finish sand something and then apply a finish and all that. Like, because that's hours of work sometimes. So, yeah.
Anyway, sorry to cut you off.
Anyway. No, you didn't at all. It was very relevant. I was trying to start a conversation.
Come off like a coward.
So that's
is this a podcast? Oh my goodness.
that's
Wait,
really.
Did we start recording? I thought this was still a pre-show.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, that's it for me. I've got a bunch of quotes I'm working on right now, but that's boring talk. So let's jump into questions. We don't have a lot this week, and honestly, it's kind of nice when you have.
Well, should we first grill our guest?
Yeah,
sure. Hit him with your questions.
Is it Bart? Is that how you say it?
It's Bart. Yes.
Barn.
Full name is Bartosz.
Bartosz.
Bartosz Karol.
Karol Komar. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
His last name means mosquito. Fun fact for the ladies out there. Yeah.
For the ladies.
Because he's got a stinger.
Okay.
We got it, Pete. You didn't need to elaborate.
It means penis.
Well,
keep going.
I wish it was something other than a little mosquito stinger.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about, so tell us about you. It's completely changed the subject.
So I make stuff.
Yeah, but Bart, give us because I've been following you since the beginning.
Who is Bart Komar?
Who the hell are you? And who do you think you are? Where did you come from? Where did you go?
My background's in construction. When I was in my 20s, I was in the hospitality industry and I hated every minute of it. So I quit my job and we went traveling around the world, went to Thailand and a couple other places. And when I came back, I didn't have a job. So my sister knew this guy that was a developer, and she goes, "Hey, can you go interview with him because you're broke and you're not doing anything?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I need a job. I need money." So I went and met with this developer, and we kind of hit it off, and he liked, what I was saying. And he said, "Do you have a construction background?" I said, "Yes." And then he busts out with a set of blueprints for a 8-unit condo that he's building. And he says, "Okay, well, what do you see? Tell me what's going on this blueprint." So I just start reading everything off. I had no idea what I was reading. And he hired me on the spot. and I hired all of my friends, my Polish friends who are contractors. And
What? That's
sat
wait.
on the
Polish
job
people
site.
stick together? That's
Yes.
crazy. I've never seen that happen on a construction site.
Yeah. And I sat on the construction site, learned everything I could for 3 years, quit the job, started my own construction company, and then 2008 hit. And I joined the military because I couldn't feed my family. So did the military thing, was a safety trainer for a company for about 8 years. And then in 2016, I was deployed and was very bored. So this was my second deployment to Afghanistan. And I was doing a customs mission, and we basically look through people's bags and make sure they're not bringing any sex toys back to the States, because I guess that was forbidden. And I was bored, so I watched a
Still
lot
fun.
of YouTube. Yeah,
Get the
and
camel dongs.
yeah, and I got back into painting. I did a lot of art, which was my major in college.
Sorry, you missed Dan saying cable dongs, which is what
Oh,
attachments used for
Camel.
like.
Camel.
Camel.
I
Don't
heard
ruin the joke.
cable dongs.
Nope,
Oh.
camel.
Cable dongle.
You'd be surprised what soldiers try to bring back into the States.
Oh,
A lot.
yep.
So it was
No
my
comments.
job.
Save it
searching
for the
through
post show.
dirty underwear.
Save it for the post show.
Yeah, so I watched a lot of YouTube on my deployment, and when I came home, one of my kids said, "Hey, Dad, can you do a video?" I'm like, "Well, I just watched all these YouTubers. They did it," and I posted a video, and it was the worst thing. I recorded half of it on my tablet, half of it on my phone, half of it on this old little camera I had. And I
Flip
had
phone.
fun. I had fun doing it. Yeah. And it just kind of took off from there. So I kind of turned that construction background and learned a little bit more woodworking and started making videos. And it's been, uphill or downhill ever since.
Lord.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it makes it easier to go downhill
Yeah.
or
Hard.
uphill. Hard.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That is awesome. Great story, man.
Yeah. So I conned my way
Thanks for
into
joining us.
into this industry.
So, like, when did you start actually doing YouTube videos? Because, like, you got 106,000 subs.
I
Which
think
is- Ballpark, I think I that's a lot. I think.
yeah. Yeah, I would say
Ballpark.
so.
Ballpark, that's 6,000 more than 100K.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Yeah. So
Ballpark,
my
that's
first video-
101,000 more than Dan.
Yeah, first video was
Ouch.
2017, end of 17, I think.
Nice.
Man,
that's good growth.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I went full time a year and a half ago, not by choice. So the company that I was working for, I was not ready to go full time yet. The company I was working for was doing a lot of shady things that I did not agree with. They're basically utilizing me as their personal contractor. And so, and expensing it through company funds. And I said I couldn't do that anymore because legally I was afraid that, something was going to happen. So I cut my ties with them and went full time. And it was the greatest thing that I could have ever done. So the videos took off, everything took off, and I'm so excited with it. I can spend more time with my family and get paid for fixing my house. So everything
cool.
turned out great. Yeah.
That's great. I'm glad it worked. Some of those things don't work.
No,
It
they
sucks to
don't.
hear those stories.
Yeah, and it was the scariest thing ever too, because I think I was at like 20 or 30,000 subscribers, and obviously at that point you're not making a living.
But it's still not
Um,
bad. It's a good
it's-
way to
it's not bad.
establish yourself.
Yeah, but when you go from doing really well in
Well-
a company,
Yeah, going full time at that number is probably
Yeah.
scary.
yeah, so I took on a lot of commission work. I did commission work for probably about a year. And when we bought this house in June of last year, I went full time because there's just so much going on here that I could not keep up with the commission work, and everything just, the cards unfolded on the table and everything just went perfect. They got a full flush, and I've been going ever since.
Do you find yourself turning away a lot of work, or are you still taking on some commissions?
I'm not taking out any commission work.
Oh, so you're turning it all down.
Yeah,
pretty
I've even had designers reach out to me saying, "Hey, I need a table. I'll pay you, $6 grand." I can't. As much as I would love to put everything on hold, I can't, because there's just so much that this house needs and the channel needs that I just can't keep up with it.
So the Komar compound has pretty much taken priority. And
Yeah,
you know, you're right. You don't want to build a big table for a lot of money. You really don't have a lot of space in your 4-car garage.
it's 3 cars for now.
3 with 2.5 acres, whatever.
So
Yes.
you
Who's counting?
alluded to this in the pre-show. One of the driving factors for buying this property was the content that you would be able to make by
Yep.
purchasing this property and remodeling it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the previous house, we finished everything. So it was a new construction house. So there really wasn't much to do. We finished the basement, changed the whole laundry room, built a deck, a few other projects there, but we just ran out of things to do. I mean, if we stayed in that house, I would be building, desks and tables and things that I can
I
think
feel
of for the
attacked now.
kids.
Yeah, who builds
No, but-
desks and tables?
But it would
Bunch
be
of chumps.
repetitive. It would be repetitive. So my brain kind of shuts off when I have to do repetitive things. And if the creativity isn't there, if the new thing isn't there, it's not fun for me. So I try not to duplicate things. I try to think outside the box and just make things that I enjoy. So if it's outside of the house. But yeah, so we sold that house because we needed to, or I needed to create content. Plus put the kids in a better school district. That was a big part of it, and get 2.5 acres. But yeah, there was nothing there left for me as a content creator. So this house has everything for me as a content creator. It's a DIY house. Everything's falling apart. Everything needs to be fixed, and
Ain't that great?
everything just needs to.
I think it's
changed.
fascinating that that's a driving force for making that decision
Yeah.
to create content.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look
I
at
think
it.
a lot of
as-
people realize that
Yeah,
that's,
you gotta look
that's
at
a
it as-
factor.
as a career. So people move out of state for different careers and different jobs. This gave us an opportunity to put the kids in a better school district, gives us an opportunity to get a lot more property and give our kids the life that we really want to give them. So it was a great neighborhood. It was a young neighborhood, but they would not be able to be the kids that I want them to be. They wouldn't be able to have a pool. They wouldn't be able to have a, long driveway where they can ride their scooters on or what have you. And I'm sure they would find other ways to entertain themselves. But if we have the opportunity to make our kids' lives better, then by all means, do whatever you
Hell yeah,
can.
man.
Because,
And make content and
Yeah.
money on the side with that.
and make content and money on the side. Yeah.
I can really relate to that because like the house we're getting it's newer. It was built in '99, but there's a lot of it was a stock house through and through.
Yeah.
So like I'm excited to just get in there and start doing projects. Like one of the first things you did was floors. We're doing floors. We're tearing up
Yeah.
all the floors. It's gonna be interesting.
And it's a lot. I mean, you
Yeah.
start ripping into these houses,
You find
and
things.
you find things, and then your wife finds other things that she wants to do because whatever it is that you just did just gave her a great idea.
Yeah.
So it's a never ending project, and I love it. I'm super happy that we're here. And next thing I need to do is build a new shop and a barn so I could get a horse and a goat.
I'm
And
sorry, you
then
were
I'll
you
be
were
happy.
talking about in a pre-show about you were getting a small shop just slightly bigger than your current one. What was that?
Slightly bigger. So
What's the
right
num-
now
what's
we're
that number?
going. It's a 40 by 60 or 40 by 80.
Oh,
um,
okay.
Yeah. So right now we're going.
It's like a
through
large
the-
shed.
a little larger than a shed. Yeah. So we're going through preliminary stages with our architect of drawing up the house and drawing up the shop, because the shop is going to be semi-attached to the house with like a walkway that connects them.
right,
You
a
can drive
catwalk.
underneath it, like another catwalk. Yeah.
Catwalk.
On the
So we
catwalk.
talked about a catwalk.
On the catwalk. Yeah.
And then on the inside of the shop, there will be a second floor catwalk. So, large open area, but then a catwalk where you have storage up on top and it wraps all the way around. And we're going to try to make it not just your average, whether it's a pole barn or metal or whatever it is we decide to do. We want it to be a part of the house.
That's
So
cool
when you look
though.
at the house, it's architecturally, it's got the same look. So a lot of windows, a lot of glass, a lot of light.
All I'm
in
hearing
there
right
for
now,
filming.
Bart, is party at Bart's house.
Oh yeah,
I feel like
absolutely.
you're making April
Oh.
Wilkerson's shop look bad. Like you're gonna have all these windows and everything, and it's gonna look like it's part of the house. It's been there forever.
Yeah,
That-
I mean
that's pretty
Samantha.
dope.
If Samantha says that if she,
I'm sorry.
could
Can you use
live-
her real name?
Honey Bunny?
Thank you.
If Honey Bunny said if she could live in a glass house, she would. And we're actually building her a glass office.
You know what you don't do when you live in a glass house, right? Run around naked,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
throwing rocks.
It'd be awesome if we had neighbors, but
If you don't have neighbors, you can do that.
All right.
you can totally
Yeah,
do
you
that.
scar the kids, but whatever.
Poor
Yeah.
They got a
kids.
place to ride their scooters, so they can't complain.
Dude, that's crazy. And
They're
like,
scarred already. I'm their dad, so it's too late.
so I gotta ask about one project, which like, I mean, you're already on the map, but it put you on a new map. And I think you know what I'm alluding to already. It was the plywood bike. It was
It
probably
was walnut and maple.
well, I'm sorry. Well,
You made your own plywood.
You made your own plywood. It's still plywood. Don't try to upsell it.
Yes.
No, but like you made your own wooden bike. I mean, it ended up in Rockler. You that was for a contest, right?
Yeah, so it was the Rockler Bentwood Challenge 2 years ago. And the contest was put on by the Modern Maker podcast guys with Rockler, and it was a form of bending wood, whether it was kerf bending, steam bending, belt lamination. And I went with kind of a option of or combination of bent lamination and water bending. I wouldn't call it steam bending. I just stuck it in a bucket of hot water and bent it. And it worked. And I've never done a bike, never bent wood before. But
It's so weird how it's like, oh, I've never done this. Let's do it.
And he didn't just make a bike. He made it like a chopper, like
Oh
lowrider
yeah.
bike. It was really dope.
Where does it
I
live,
I
too?
shared that post in my
it's in the
stories.
basement.
It's in a basement.
It's in the basement of the house.
Oh my god.
So I'm actually planning in the next couple of weeks to because it's all shrink wrapped right now. I didn't want to get damaged during the move. But
That's
I had
right.
a
That was in
couple
the other
opportunities-
shop.
It
Wow.
was in the other shop, yeah. It's been that long. But I had a couple chances to sell it. It lived in one of the Rockler stores up by me in Chicago, and I had 3 different opportunities to sell it, and I turned those down for very good money. I didn't turn them down for very good money. I just turned them down.
Did you turn him down for a very good reason?
Yeah, I did. Because it's my project, and like Pete said, it kind of put me on I'm not going to say put me on the map, but it allowed other makers or other woodworkers to actually see my work, because it was put out there within the community.
It brought you out of your bubble. Your
I think that's when I
Instagram tends
started
to put
following
you
you.
into a
You know?
bubble. And then
Yeah.
you definitely went beyond that.
Yeah, and to me, this community means a great deal. So to hold on to something that other woodworkers have seen, that have said, "Oh, okay, it's a pretty cool project," it means a lot to me. It's something that I'm going to hold on to forever. And then if I die, my kids want to sell it, then by all means sell it. But I'm going to hold on to it, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'll probably ride it a couple times. Hopefully it doesn't fall apart on me, but
Flex on the neighbors.
Well, with the wood
Yeah,
prices,
like-
it's literally increasing in value every day.
yeah.
Oh, true.
Who needs
so-
gold? Buy maple and walnut.
Yeah, so
That's
I'm gonna hold
awesome.
on to it for a while, and just enjoy it, man, because it is a cool project. It really is.
Hell yeah, man.
It blew my mind that I was able to kind of make something like that without a plan, because there was absolutely no plan. It just, I would put up a piece of wood or something like that, or a piece of wood to the bike, see how well it formed and fit, then cut it out and put it to it, and kind of go through that whole process of does it work, does it not? And it was very rewarding with the kind of
Well, the process and
creative process
trial and
that I
error.
went through with it. Yeah. So
I mean, it's
so
still
I'll hold on to
together.
it.
That's pretty
It's still
big.
definitely together. Yeah. And it rides. Yeah. And it
That's
rolls, at least. It rolls, because I haven't ridden in a while.
All right, before we jump into questions, I just have one last question, and that's, I mean, you've done something right on YouTube. You're blowing up on YouTube. Any kind of tip you would offer to people trying to grow on YouTube?
Forget the formula. Forget the
What a
algorithm.
hipster. God.
No, I'm dead serious. So when I first started, I was all about the algorithm. I would reach out to, content creators and say, hey, how do I do this? What kind of thumbnail do I need? What time do I post this? I would try to figure out the best thing because I did want to make it grow. And any content creator will tell you that that's their primary goal, is to actually grow their channel so they can do fun and crazy things and not have to do commission work. But at the moment that I gave up, because I couldn't figure it out, the moment that I gave up trying to figure it out and started doing things that I want to do and not care about anything else and posting whenever I wanted, that's when I noticed a big change
Really?
in an up spike. Yeah. Because
That's
I was
cool.
trying to fit into a mold before, doing the like we talked about, the thumbnails with, all the fun stuff early on, and try to figure everything out. But once that was all gone, it was off the table. I think people actually genuinely realized that I was having a good time and just doing my own thing. And it kind of reflected on camera and it kind of took off. So yeah, my tip to everybody, do your own thing. Don't try to mimic anyone else. Don't try to figure things out, because you never will. There's a handful of people that might, but just be you. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Be more authentic, right?
Authentic.
If you build it, they will
Yes.
come. Just
Yes,
put out
sir.
content. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into some questions, I think, because, I mean, I could ask you questions all night, but we do have a show as well.
Yeah, let's.
We got some questions, and then we'll get your input on those.
Cool. This first question is from Adam Barnett. His was supposed to be last week.
Love
but
that
there was
guy.
a snafu between me and him, so it is this week. Here it is.
Hey guys, Adam here. So I have a big boy table saw now. So there's a piece of cast iron in my shop, and I know you guys have touched on it, and I've heard a million different things, but what is the correct or recommended way to take care of the cast iron top? And then part two of that question is, what do you guys actually do in your shop to take care of your cast iron? Sometimes those vary. A recommended thing and what people actually do. So yeah, if you guys could enlighten us with that, I would appreciate it. And I'll hear your sultry voices soon.
Hey,
Can I take this one?
Yeah.
Okay, please.
I got it. Ooh, okay. So I just got a big boy table saw. I just got the monster saw stop, and in the saw stop manual, it tells you that there's a product that didn't come with the saw stop that you're supposed to use on the table. I bought this product. I can't remember the name of it. I bought this product. I put it on my saw stop, and within a couple of days, I started seeing little rust spots. So I stripped all that stuff off, and I went back to WD-40, which I've been using since day one. So I use it to clean rust off. I use it to maintain, and it's worked for me. So WD-40, I guess. That's what I use.
Toss it to someone.
Oh, hey, Pete, what about you?
Hey,
See, I'm
yeah.
learning.
So a lot of things that I heard early on, because I used to restore a lot of older tools that actually I'm excited to get back into. But a lot of people were basically told me WD-40, use that for, you can clean with that, whatever, and use an abrasive pad and a lot of elbow grease and clean it up. That's fine. It works fine. But I would buy tools that were orange and brown. And I don't mean like they were rigid or whatever, although one of them was a rigid table saw. And I actually ran because it was a full cast iron top of the old school rigid table saws, and I just put tape on it in a grid and literally did WD-40, was that Evaporust, I did Coca-Cola, which I've heard removes rust. I did vinegar, I did all these different products. The best product for removing rust off of really rusty stuff, vinegar, hands down. Best result. WD-40 was good, but it required a good amount of actual work on there. Now, so again, what people recommend, or a lot of people will say, is like,
Maintaining, not
maintaining for
But you're
restoring.
not
okay,
maintaining
like,
with vinegar, right?
well,
Yeah, no.
well,
you
hang
can't
on.
maintain
But
vinegar.
here's the thing: the reason I said that is because during maintenance, a lot of us have garages. My garage, after a rainstorm, if it opens up, if it's wet, it'll drip on your cast iron. And you actually got to get in there a little deeper. It's not just a basic maintenance. You actually have to try to get spots out. I had that issue with my joiner before. I've had it with my bandsaw, where like just a couple of drops went on it. Somebody opened up the garage after a rainstorm. I didn't notice it. Day later, I see it and it's just rust spots. So one thing that people won't tell you to do, but works really well and causes no issues, sand it. Just grab a sander, throw some old paper on there, sand it with something a little finer. You don't have to go too deep. Sand it until that stuff is out, and then just hit it with, all I use is paste wax. One thing that actually turned me was kind of questioning this, when I got my Laguna joiner, they recommend you put baby powder on your, because you treat your joiner like a baby. So they were saying put baby powder on there so it actually works well.
Where did it say that? Who said that?
In the Laguna
Manual?
in the Laguna manual, to once in a while add baby powder, like just
To
like
the
a
paste
thin
wax
coat.
or just
Just
baby
right
powder?
onto the cast iron that came out of the factory. You cleaned it off. You probably use WD-40 to clean off all the grease and stuff. Put on a little bit of baby powder, just to give it a little bit of, or talcum powder, whatever, just to give it a little bit of ease of smoothness or whatever. That works fine. I just use paste wax, but for cleaning, anytime I get rust spots or random things happening, I use vinegar. I buff it off. If it's really bad and if it's stayed on there for a couple of days, I sand it a little bit and then just paste wax it. And it lasts for a very long time with no issues. Paste wax for the win. Dan?
I haven't used baby powder on my machine.
I haven't either.
I've never read that. I'm not saying you're wrong, but that sounds weird.
Don't make me bing it.
All right, you bing it. You bing it while I'm talking. I'm pretty much the same as Bart. I will maintain with WD-40, and if it's got a really rough spot, I'll put on a 320 grit pad or something on it and sand it with my orbital sander. Something super fine that I'm not grinding down the actual cast iron with. I'm not going to throw on 80 grit or 60 grit or anything like that. But WD-40 is the easiest and most
Easy.
Whoa.
Did your brain just shut down?
My brain just shut down.
What was that one? Like, is it like Bow Shield or something?
T9 Bow Shield.
T9 Bow Shield.
T9 Bow
That's
Shield.
probably what Mike's gonna say. Let's toss it to Mike before I have a stroke.
I like T9 Bow Shield. I actually end up liking paste wax more than T9 Bow Shield. T9 Bow Shield's good. It just doesn't seem to last as long as paste wax seems to, as long as you let it get on there right. I really do maintain my cast iron every 3 months. I have everything on a rotation, but in the summer, my table saw gets it every month because I do not like the heat, and I sweat a lot in the summer, especially when I'm in the shop and I'm running around, and I end up putting my forearms on the cast iron, and I get big like rust marks on there from where my forearms were, or me leaning on it or something. It gets bad, so I clean it every month.
Also, you're in your shop shirtless a lot, so
yeah, I just wear a sock and a rubber band. It really makes me fast and aerodynamic. So
aerodynamic.
Yeah, I'm running.
Actually, what's funny is when I used to record in a shop, I would record on a table saw and I'd lean on it while I was typing notes, and I would leave rust spots that are still there on my table saw.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue I have. So clean, I do like the T9 Bow Shield like rust remover product. It is really good, but I don't know that it's infinitely or noticeably better than just WD-40. WD-40 is a great way to go. WD-40 and paste wax, my recommendation. It's cheapest. And he was asking like what I actually do. That's what I actually do. So I will, if I remember to grab my T9 Bow Shield, I'll throw it on there. On tools that I don't run heavy items on, like my jointer gets like heavy pieces of wood on it. the T9 doesn't seem to hold up very long. But on like my smaller bandsaw, I haven't had to coat my bandsaw table and my smaller bandsaw table in a long time. It doesn't get big pieces on there. But my big bandsaw, that one gets paste wax because that does get big beams on there and stuff. Yep. So anyway,
I want to make an addendum to what I said.
Dan.
Ooh, big words over here. So I do use WD-40 to maintain it, but I don't use paste wax. I use a Teflon spray.
The dry spray?
The dry lube Teflon spray. I like that stuff. It leaves a white like powder coating after a while, and you can clean it off real easy. But I like that just for the simplicity.
I actually put Odie's on my planer in-feed and out-feed, and I haven't had to do that. I haven't had to redo that since about whenever I got my planer. So that actually does work. The Odie's on cast iron. I mean, it is for metal. So I was gonna try it when I clean my table saw to put it on my table saw.
Never
see how long it lasts.
I want to add a Dan to my thing. So it was not baby powder.
There's no baby powder, right? Okay, that's what I
It's talcum powder. But it's actually in their instructions. Although some users prefer wax coating for their table surfaces, white talcum powder rubbed in vigorously once a week with a blackboard eraser.
Vigorous talcum powder rub.
Once a week.
Talcum powder will not stain the wood or mar finishes.
What page is that, Pete? I'm at the jointer.
Hold on, I will
manual right now, and I'm looking up talc.
TALC.
I'm doing the find feature.
That's what I'm as well. Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
It doesn't matter.
I know. I 100% remember this. This is a thing. I'm sending it to you right now.
That's basically we don't believe you, Pete. Go on.
The next question is from Josh the Dizad.
I missed that guy.
2 in a row. He used to be a loyal listener, and then he started just going off the reservation. That sounds like an offensive statement.
I hear he listens to people that talk about wood now.
Is that all he listens to now?
Yeah.
And
sounds of the shop.
Josh, don't do me like that. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's Jay the D. Yep, Josh the One of the Big IG coming at you with this week's question. All because I remembered to record it and send it in. I'm very proud of myself this week. Yay, the crowd goes wild. Hey, we all have something in common now. We all have CNC machines. Oh, this is so wonderful. Now we have a common ground to discuss things. Anyways, I was talking with Andrew over at Smith_Builds, and he asked me a question, and he suggested that I should send this in as a question of the week. So I'm going to take him up on that and do it. End mills, bits, for your CNC, how long do you run them? Do you have a set amount of time? Do you wait until they start fraying? What's your estimated time of use for a CNC bit? All right, have fun. Talk to you later.
Pete,
I run them as long as the carve tells me to run them.
Bada bing, bing.
Anyways, but this is actually a phenomenal question because I've gotten asked this before, but no one's ever brought it up on a show. It's really hard to tell. It's one of those things like when you're running a bunch of boards through a table saw and you go, this is tougher than it was in the beginning, or a router or a drill bit. Like you just feel like, okay, I just got to replace it. If you use it enough, and I know you do, Josh, the father, like you will start feeling a difference. If it start making a bad sound or is really not cutting as cleanly, it's time. The other thing you should really consider is getting a brass brush. Now, Harbor Freight literally sells a 3-pack. It's like brass, steel, and aluminum, whatever.
Yeah, I just picked it up the other day.
Yeah, it's like $1 or $10, whatever. If you get a coupon, it's free. They pay you $5, and use the brass brush. The reason you use a brass brush, yeah, we need this out of here. Just take it. The brass brush is ideal. Brass is actually very soft. So not to bring it to 3D printing, but in 3D printing, the stock nozzle in a lot of 3D printers is brass. You don't want to use a steel brush because you'll actually mar up and damage the tip. Just a tip. So with the CNC bit, obviously it's carbide. You could use a steel brush, but brass will remove all the extra caked on wood that's on there without.
So that's how long you run your bit for?
Well, hang on. I'm just saying it can make it last a lot longer if you clean your bit. A lot of people will just take it out of the machine, throw it in their drawer or in a box, and never 100%. Look at it again.
I do the
just
same
like when you clean table saws, clean your router bits, they're going to last longer. Can I tell you how long it's going to last? No,
No.
because it all depends on how it sounds and feels. If it's really cutting crappily, or God forbid, you run it so long
Crappily.
it snaps.
Technical term.
It's a technical term.
Episode 66, crappily.
Yeah, if you're getting good results out of that, you don't want to be, you don't want to be running it. But it's basically by feel. And sometimes, especially with some of those, like the basic, whatever 202 end mill, like you can feel if it's not sharp anymore. But clean it, it'll last longer. If it just doesn't sound right, and if it doesn't feel right, swap it out. If you got a couple months out of it, you got a good run. It's only $30. Let's just do it again. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, you could run a 1/4 inch end mill on MDF for probably like a year before you ever need to like replace that thing. But I mean, it really depends on what you're running on. So it's really about feel. I meant feel, not Phil. I don't know what Phil is. It's really about feel.
Phil.
And Phil, that guy, Uncle Phil, R.I.P. Did you hear how he died? Did you hear what happened before he died? A month before he died, put lard on his back. No, no. Yeah, I mean, it's about sound, and you'll just notice that there's more chatter around, especially when it goes around cross grain and onto in grain. You'll get that cross grain chatter. That's when it's like, okay, time to throw that one in the trash. It's not making you money anymore, so throw it out. Or it's not, it's just gonna cause you more work because you're gonna have to sand it. So there's no like hard limit. You're gonna know. You'll know when it's bad. Daniel?
I don't know if I've had a CNC long enough to answer this question, but I will tell you that I've already replaced a bit simply because it broke, and I think that
fast and hot.
That was a good indication that I needed to replace it because it broke.
It exploded.
So it's right here. I got it. It's right here. That's my big tip. If it breaks, buy a new one. What do you think?
I mean, that's one tip.
Bart, do you have a CNC?
Yes, he does.
I do have a CNC, but I don't use it as often as I probably should. So I'm not an expert on CNC bits. However, I'm assuming it's going to be just like a router bit. And I use my router bit. Yeah. I use my router basically for just anything I can possibly use it on. I have multiple routers. I have a router table now. And just like Mike said, when a bit gets dull or it's got a lot of buildup on it, it's going to have a different chatter and it's going to make a different sound. It's going to feel completely different. And you can actually clean the router bit. Like Pete said, I use something called CMT, I believe. It's an orange spray bottle. I use it on all my blades too, from the table saw. So after, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks of running hardwoods through it, all the pitch will be built up on there. You just spray the blades or spray the bits and take a brass brush and clean it off. And I'll do that 3 or 4 times before I actually have to replace the bit. So yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be the same thing for a CNC. I think it might be a little bit different because you're not feeling it. You have to go more by sight and by sound, but yeah, on a router, it's a lot by, just feeling it. So, and you get that over time with it.
If you get a lot of burning on cuts too, you start feeling it, especially on a router. Like you just,
it tastes
that's
like
a great
burning.
question. Yeah,
tastes like burning. Yeah. Also, you could do the whole table saw trick with the dish, not the laundry detergent to take the pitch off. You could use that. Yeah, laundry detergent
too.
Yeah, no, but I'm serious. If you use laundry detergent, you can stick like a table saw blade into like a lid of a Home Depot bucket, whatever. But like you can just do the same thing with the router bits. I've done that. Put it in there and just let it soak for a bit. You just see it actually just flaking off. It's Polish tricks, guys. Try it.
Do that.
Simple Green does a great job as well.
Did you know that Messier is a spiral galaxy M66 in magnitude 10 galaxy constellational wheel?
It was about time. It took so long.
I'm sorry.
What the heck? I did want to give Pete some serious vindication, and he sent us some photographic evidence, but I did pull it up on the.
I wasn't even going to mention it.
For the JX8 joiner, page 5, subparagraph 3. It mentions white talcum powder to be anyway, yeah.
And this was I read it in the actual book that came with our joiners. So like
I say we start a new podcast where we just read the manuals of tools.
Another manual reading podcast.
3 guys
And
in a manual.
We do it
3
while
guys
we
in a
drink-
manual. That's it.
We do it while we drink bourbon and get stupid drunk. I think it'll be fun.
This is gonna be great. Good. We're gonna have so many.
Bart's on board. Look at him.
subs.
Look at that face.
I'm in.
Oh, you're in it. You're in it. This is not an option now. It's
Let's
Look at this. I'm in.
let's call it good for questions. Let's not read that
Well-
that third one.
You don't
Let's
want
knock it out.
me to read it?
let's knock it out. It'll
Sure,
be quick.
Go for it. Okay.
I don't know if I can read it.
You remember who's reading it, right? Not gonna be
It's
quick.
you, Dan. It's you.
Then I found that I'm just reading. I'm pointing at words and reading.
All right, so Kevin Kramer sent in a message through Patreon. He says, "Hey guys, super new to woodworking here with a question about refinishing an outdoor table. Need to strip the paint off the top. Easiest paint stripper for an amateur? Question mark. Also, looking for recommendations on what to finish it with. I listened to all the pods that you guys have recorded so far, so I at least know I need a spar urethane because it will be outside, right? Question mark. But do you guys use oil-based or water-based? Planning to use brushes, so do I need an HVLP sprayer for a beginner project? What do you think, Mike?
I don't know much about paint strippers. I would tend to go with like a natural one, like a citrus based, but I've never really used it or have no experience with, so I'm not really a good example. I don't really know. I've never stripped paint. But that's what I would do if I was going to try it. You do want a spar urethane would work. There's good varnishes out there. I like Total Boat Halcyon. I also like the Target Coatings urethane. There's other exterior products you can use as well. You do not need to spray it on. You can very easily foam brush either of those products on and have no issues. You don't need to invest in an HVLP, though. If you see yourself doing that anytime soon or doing more of these projects, I think you can get the Home Right or something for like $100, and it pays for itself quick. So, yeah, I think I answered all the questions. Whatever you get for the exterior finish, it just needs to have UV inhibitors in it. That's all you need, is something that will inhibit UV. So, because that's what destroys the finish is UV rays. Bart.
Best stripper on a small project, probably a belt sander.
Here comes Amber on the stage.
It's a candy.
Yeah, I just like Mike, I don't strip wood. I never have. I belt sand or just sand the old finish off. If you're stripping something, it's probably for a reason. It's probably
For
not
firewood.
holding up very well. Yeah, so it's going to be fairly easy to take off. And as an exterior project, Halcyon's great. Total Bolt also has a spar urethane called I believe it's Lust.
Lust. Yeah, I just used
Lust.
that on a boat deck.
Yep, and I used it on on some sawhorses that I left outside for an entire year, and they look brand new. I mean, covered in.
I remember
2 feet
you
of
pointing
snow.
that out. Like
Yeah,
they really held
was
up well.
amazed. They really held up really, really well. Minwax has a spar urethane in a can. It's called
Starts with an H.
Yeah, Hellman's. No, something with an H. But it's a-
Heisselman's or something.
Heisselman's. Yeah, it's a spar urethane.
Hellman's is a mayonnaise, Bart.
Yeah, there you go. But it's Minwax spar urethane, something with an H. That stuff goes on great. I use Minwaxes in a can, lacquers, polyurethanes, and
Elsman.
I love can work. So it's super easy because there's no cleanup after it. You don't have to worry about figuring out the ratio or thinning it out or anything else. You spray it on if it's something small. You can put a second or third coat on really quickly, and you can put it on your shelf and then use it a month later without having to clean anything or readjust anything. So I'm a huge fan of spray finishes from a can.
I was gonna say something to point out. Bart works almost exclusively with canned finishes, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Wait, Bart, can you say that?
I do have a sprayer.
Oh, this guy, unbelievable.
No, I do absolutely love working.
Like you
with
can
cans
get
because
really
it's-
good finishes from a can.
You can.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, it's the same thing, and it's atomized already for you. So you don't have to try to figure out how to atomize your $200, $300, $400 sprayer and worry about bubbles. It comes out perfect out of the can. Just make sure you have a good tip. a new tip on it. If
And good
it's been sitting on a
technique.
shelf, put a different tip on it. But you're gonna get a perfect finish every single time out of a can. It's just as long as you get your rate of application across your project correct, you're not overspraying it too much, you're gonna be fine. So cans, oh, absolutely, all day long. If you guys have any cans laying around, you can send them my way. I'll take them. Dan?
Well, you may find this hard to believe, but I don't strip. I've never stripped.
I've been in Nebraska. Are some cheese curds on me?
Under the right setting with enough tequila, perhaps.
I'll do anything for a burrito. Mike said longingly.
Have you ever had the enchilada from Taco Bell? Hello.
They call you the Inchurrito, but it's INCH.
Thank you for saying it before I did.
All right, so I don't think I have anything to add that's going to be groundbreaking. I agree with Mike and Bart both. So, Pete, have you went yet? You want to say something?
I haven't. No, all I'm going to say is like, I care about the environment. Mike brought up a good point. Use one of those like citrus-based ones, but for stripper. But I bought a can of stripper that was like one of those decent-sized ones, and luckily I haven't had to use a lot of it in my life. I've stripped plenty of cabinets and things like that. It's a freaking nightmare. Anytime you can avoid it, avoid it. Honestly, I would lean more towards sanding over stripping. As far as the finish, these guys nailed it. You want a spar urethane or halcyon? I'm a big fan of halcyon. I haven't really tried a lot of spar urethane, but I'm in love with halcyon. And I'm going to quote a great Nebraskan woodworker now, Daniel Dunlap. A couple episodes ago, he said, best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. So if you want to learn how these finishes work, we get a question about outdoor finishes a lot. Grab every finish in your closet, grab a scrap piece of wood of whatever you got, just finish it and toss them outside for this summer. See how it looks. Just try it out. Learn yourself. I'm serious. Just try it. It's going to be a quick weekend project. You can do it in 2 hours, brush on some, spray some, throw it outside, let it chill, see how it looks in August. See how it looks in December. Just let it chill. Hopefully your wife's not going to get too mad, but whatever.
Yeah, I actually have a piece of painted MDF in my shop that I labeled all these other finishes. And I think I have like 12 or 13 different finishes, and I sprayed them all, and it stays in my shop to this day. And I think I did this about 2 years ago. And anytime I want to see what a finish will do to a paint or something like that, I can actually go back to that piece and I can reference, okay, if I want it a little bit shinier, I can go with, a spar or Hellman's. Yeah. Hellman's.
It's mayonnaise.
Or if I want something duller, I can go with something with a water-based finish or something like that. So if you're planning on finishing a lot of projects with a different type of a finish, make sample pieces like Pete said, and just keep them.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's an episode.
Well, let's call it a wrap. Bart, thank you so much for joining us. That was awesome.
Can we call it a Hellman's
Really
wrap
great.
or an
Hellman's wrap,
enchilada?
yeah.
The Inchurrito. I think we already have our show title, and Dan wins for sure. It's definitely episode 66, Can of Stripper. Definitely featuring Bart Komar.
This color is amber.
Amber. Can of amber stripper.
I'm more of a
anyway.
charity color.
Oh God.
I'm more of a
Stop.
cinnamon guy.
We're gonna get more of these. We're gonna get
Stripper
more.
in a can of Hellman's.
Oh God.
Sounds like a great weekend.
Oh man.
Well,
Big thank you to our sponsor, Peak Safety. Thanks for sponsoring the show. You guys are great.
I mean, if you're using a stripper, that gear is perfect.
There's no reason not to have respiratory protection
Exactly.
when you're stripping. Get that power cap. No, big thanks to our patrons. Big thanks to our listeners, guys. Thank you for sharing the show. Keep that up. We really appreciate it. Give us those reviews. We think they're important. But if you got like only energy to do reviews or share the show.
Share.
Because we're pretty sure that does way more. So keep sharing the show. You guys are awesome. And I think that's going to be it for us. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you guys next week. Bart, again, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Bart.
for having me.
Thanks, Bart.
Bye. It was a blast.
Bye.
Love you
I
long
love you.
time.
I
Bye.
love you long time. Bye.
Dobranoc.
Dobranoc.
Got it.
Kill it.